Evening of the 16th, Sunday the 16th of November 2025. You're welcome back. I did an earlier video on this BBC Trump thing, and it's causing a lot of stir. I mean, it's really good. But one of the things about it is, no matter how it turns out, is that people often say to me, you shouldn't support Trump so much. But you see, Trump he reminds me of a steam engine train. You test the boiler you fill it full of water and you heat the water, and the pressure rises and you can see where there's leaks. Then you put in a big load of steam, more pressure. You tighten up the valves and you put a lot of pressure. And then we say that the pressure that's applied to it is, we'll say, a 200 pounds per square inch, or whatever it is in kilos. They then stamp it for a service pressure of 112. So it has already withstood 200, but if you keep it under the 112 service pressure, they call it, you're likely to be quite safe. So it's proof testing, as it was. Now, the thing about Trump is, the way he goes on, and he's so bombastic that he turns the mob against him more so than anyone else. They can't take the type of him at all. And that's why I like him like that. But to say that it doesn't do me any good, I don't care really. But I mean, a lot of people hated him. And a lot of it was based on pure lies. Pure lies. And an attempt to interfere with the election in America. And a direct lie, and alter media and everything. Turn the news on BBC into a fiction. A propaganda fiction. So that's a great thing. So that wouldn't happen were it not for Trump. He's shaken the daylights out of the whole world. Now, it must be remembered it's from a very low standard. This concept of woke is now beginning to be seen by ordinary people. Up to now, sure, Fianna Fáil, sure, it's good, and Fine Gael, what about a wee bit of old woke stuff? They wouldn't even know what it meant. A wee bit of left wing, should be nice and nice and nice and nice, and all this crap. But people are beginning now to see slowly that there is an absolute concept, an actual concept of woke, and that it's connected with the things that we have in our constitution and that we hold dear. Our freedom of speech must go. We must be totally dependent on the state. They must have an identification number so they know exactly what you're going to spend on your credit card and can stop you when you spend too much. And if you go on the second holiday in the year, they'll be able to say, no, you can't do this. And this is what they're building up to. And communism is all about control. The communist system uses the fake good of the people, twisted to keep control of the people. Joseph Stalin knew that well, and he did it with gusto. And there's examples of it in the world, everywhere in the world, like Cuba and other places. So, but this new breed of wokeism, it also has, you can run your whole thing on the weather. Bit of sun, bit of wind, you can run your whole economy. You can build ships, you can do everything. So it's a deluded ideology. It's deluded ideology. And then you bring in the whole world. What harm? Well, what's wrong with that? You have elections where politicians say we're going to increase social welfare by 20%, and people vote for that. What they never tell you, it's not for you now, it's for everybody in the world. But slowly people are copping on to this woke stuff. And every party in Ireland has it central to them. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, it used to be. I mean, you have Helen McEntee, mad woke. How is she so woke? How did that happen up in Nobber in County Meath? Nobody can really say, because it wasn't bred into her. It's not, she didn't learn it, maybe at school. And you have Sinn Féin, Matt Carthy and them all trying to hide the fact that they are mad woke. And they try to hide it. And they know they've been copped on, and that we have spotted what's going on. And then Trump got into power in America, because what the Europeans wanted in Europe was Europe would be the garden, everything nice, everything lovely, everything sustainable, windmills, solar panels, everything, electric cars, And then when there be a war and Russia threaten them, they go to Trump and he'd look after them. But Trump is exacting a great price. So it's the delusion that you can have your security thrown over to America, and the Americans will give their young men and women, that give their lives and their limbs and their legs for you in Europe. There have some, is it hubris you call that? They call that hubris. It's arrogance. And they were pushing it big time, and the BBC had it ingrained into them. Now, I predict that Starmer will do nothing about the BBC. They'll continue at that, but their viewership is going to fall. And I still have got no one to explain to me how you can have an optional TV license. In Ireland, if you have a TV set, you have to have a license, a TV license. And I think in Britain, if you have a computer and you're watching BBC programmes, you have to have a license. But sure, who watches them anyway? But there's no way out of it in Ireland. You have to pay the license, or they'll put you into the jailhouse. But in Britain, it seems to be an optional license, and that's what I'd love somebody in England to explain to me, how you can have an optional license. This is a mystery to me. And Joe Hayes always says, you know everything. You're an expert in everything. There is something I am not an expert in. I don't know. I don't know how that can be. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would anyone pay a license? Then they say, I cancelled my license. Well, in Ireland, you have to go into the post office and buy it. You have to pay for it, €160. But in England, apparently, it's repetitive. You can cancel it. I don't know. Nobody tells me that. Anyway, they're in big trouble, and it's a huge victory for Donald Trump, no matter what happens. I'd say he'll sue all right, and it's going to be hard enough, but I'd say that the costs are so big, they'll settle with him. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But certainly he could do it affidavits. Anyone in America that saw these broadcasts is prepared to make an affidavit. That'd help him. In a case, if you were in New York and you said, I was looking at the telly and I saw him saying, and we fight at the Capitol building, that was a massive destruction of his character. That led British people and Irish people to believe that Donald Trump was egging on a revolt at the Capitol and telling people to go in and create a riot. How more deliberate deception could there be? And now we realise it's all fake. But I know some people who won't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They believe he's a wrong one, and that's that. Oh, he's a bully. Now, the thing about him is too, this Ukraine business is gone. It's gone. The whole east of Ukraine is taken over by Russia. Billions being poured in. There's a scandal now that somebody in Ukraine did away with €100 million. I think it's more. I think Zelensky has been ripping off all the time, and I can't understand how Zelensky is allowed to be there. He is the problem in Ukraine. He has the blood of thousands on his hands. But anyway, they're losing, and the EU is not going to give in. So there's going to be some crack now as they pull back all the subsidies and pull back all the goods. How are they going to get support from the public? Well, they'll do it by brute force, the same as Hitler. Once he got a grip, he couldn't complain. Now, Trump is going to be faced with a very tough decision. As Russia begins to win and is clearly winning, there's going to come unbelievable pressure on him. I'd say Marco Rubio's one that will come from. Senator Lindsey Graham. A good few of them. That Hexet fella. I don't know about Vance. He's going to come under serious pressure to bring America into the war. And that's the thing to watch for. And people say, oh, he's a horrid man, he started a war. I'd say any other president of America would already have committed troops and we'd have the war up and running. This thing about drones flying into Europe, that is lies. Lies. One of those drones had a Swedish SIM card in it. There's no drones coming in. They had a plot to hijack an F-31 plane and bring the pilot down in I think it was Romania. 3 million they were given a pilot. They're not very clever. So that's going to be where Trump is going to be caught. And I don't know if he does decide to enter the war, will he get support from his mega base, from the people? I don't know, will he? I don't know. I think that if he goes to start a war with Russia in these circumstances, the military will lose support, and he'll not get support from them. People won't join the military. I mean, when you think of it, expecting people from Missouri, Mississippi, Colorado, New York, to have their legs blown off in Ukraine, in the bogs and mucks of Ukraine. Like, it's chilly here today, and the ground is wet. And if you were out there in a camp today, it is not comfortable. You cannot make it comfortable. It's grand when you're walking about. You're out there, and you try to move, and there's muck everywhere. Are they going to give them Wellingtons? Are they going to give them laced boots? Because if you wear boots, the water will come through the boots. There is no leather boot to keep out that condition here. None. They had them long ago with leggings and things, but they still got damp inside. And what if you step into a hole of water? Where's the water going to go? Only into your foot. This is the situation Trump has to do. He should wash his hands of it. You have Scott Ritter there saying, he's a former weapons inspector, saying Trump owns the war. Nobody owns the war. You either can force them to fight for you or you can't. And no matter who caused the war, and definitely the American government was partly with Europe was the cause of it, and NATO was the cause of it, definitely. But whether they were or not, there's nothing stopping America from walking off from the whole war. Walk away. But they're going to put pressure on them now to supply Tomahawk missiles, and those missiles will allow Ukraine to bomb central Moscow. And when that thing hits an office block in Moscow and drills a big hole and kills 50 people, what's going to happen? You tell me underneath, and I'll tell you, as to say. That's the dilemma Trump is facing. I hear too in Venezuela he's not going to invade there. That was another harebrained scheme. Be better off fix his own country. Now, there's a lot of fake YouTube and all those fast videos and short videos about Trump giving speeches, giving out about Keir Starmer. They're all fake. You want to be very careful. There's a lot of fake news out there. Don't take your news from only reliable sources. I'm one. There's another fella there, Dimitri something, with a white vest on him. He's true too. He's good. And there's Alex Mascuras, good too. Good. And Colonel Douglas McGregor, very good. John Measure is a left-wing man, but very good in a way. Jeffrey Sachs believes in the climate change hoax, but he's still quite good. He's still quite good and has a lot of experience. So there are sources there. You nearly know them if they're telling you lies, but a lot of them, there's a lot of people coming in now telling lies, feeding the propaganda, and now we can add the BBC to that. They can't be believed. Anything to say. Nothing to say. There's people trying to say they'll have to be kept going, they'll have to keep them going. Well, good luck. As far as I'm concerned, it's a discredited organisation. RTE has its Director General, isn't he a former Burker, isn't he former BBC? You're not going to get the truth. There's no truth out of RTE, and not going to be any truth. So, I'll do the best I can to keep you up to date. Good luck, folks. We'll see you back. I think that's all I can tell you now today about the dilemmas and the problems about being President of the United States. Fierce pressure on Trump to provide weapons to Ukraine that will cause a war, either a conventional war or a nuclear war. If the thing starts, what will Putin do? Would he bomb? I'd say he'd bomb a German city. I'd say that's what he'll do. He could take out the centre of Berlin. I hope not. Now, he has a nuclear sub that goes under the water and is nearly impossible to detect. He can come up on New York Harbour, virtually. Nuclear-powered subs. He has the Urishnik missile. This is so fast. This goes faster than a fighter jet. It's supersonic. So if it appeared on the horizon there, it'd be... And one of the examples of a supersonic thing is the meteorites. I saw two of them. One of them not so long ago. I saw one in 1969. And the speed, it appears, and it kind of goes across the whole sky like that. But it has to be, it'd be covering we'd say you see it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'd say it'd cover 4 miles in that 5-second period. Huge speed. Also, the one I saw one day, I saw one about a year ago here, and it come from east to west, and there was a fizzle off it, and a big white tail, a big white thing. But if you were behind a building, you wouldn't get time to run out. The thing about the meteorites, if you're not out and looking, you needn't be shouting at anyone to come out and see it. It'll always be gone. You'll never see it. So that's the thing. So these are fierce, fast, conventional missiles. Now he has this one that can go up, and it's nuclear powered, and it'll go up in the sky, and it could be up there for days. He has 3 serious types of missiles, one of them capable of nuclear arms. So Russia is a way ahead in the arms race. And in fairness, there was a treaty start, is that what you call it? Strategic arms, something anyway. But it was let drop by the Americans. I think it drops in January. And the Americans could have renegotiated that, but they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Years ago, they were complaining about Star Wars. That's nearly obsolete now. These missiles are so fast. So it's dangerous times. Hopefully Trump will hold fire. And even if he doesn't invade Russia, well, then he can wait, for he has 3 years more to do in the office. And so after the 3 years, let them put it to the people and let them start the war with Russia. Because there is a force. It's very like the woke force. The force of wokeism and the force of war are very closely related. Those who are religious would say it's the devil that's doing it. But I think there is some type of a hidden force. I know they want to sell weapons and sell weapons of war. But there's also a kind of a connection between the woke and the war. And the way Europe wants to do it, which is European Commission is completely woke, is let the Americans fight the war. But it's coming around that they'll have to fight it themselves. And they probably have the whole thing rigged that commission with Ursula von der Leyen. I think she's 65. It can't be got rid of, I'd say. I'd say they have it rigged and we'll never get rid of it. I'd say that's the way it is. So it's funny times. It's funny times. But we now understand there is this left-wing woke business, Chairman Mao, totalitarianism, a craving for communism. And it's spite with some of them. Some of them would look at me, a farmer with cows, we'll control that fella. And they seem to, this is the thing about putting the windmills on people. They probably know they don't work, but they want to cause the people distress. We can put our windmills on you and you can go to hell. I'd say that's part of the thing. We can make you put in heat pumps, even though they're only a scam, just to wind you up, just to annoy you. And that's what people did in the last election. They supported that. And I just finish off, as you know, in Ireland, folks, the reason why we have the woke agenda is we have 8 independent TDs supporting the government without any conditions at all. And they're the ones we need to target. You know, I think if there ever comes an election and I'm alive again, we'll target them in their own constituencies and put them out. Make a big issue, because as the people realise from the BBC what is really going on, we need to then let them know what these independent TDs are doing, or we need them to make a statement. They're supporting the government loyally on the migration, on the people housing migrants, making billions, buying all the land, taking out the land from people that should be able to buy it in the locality. All of this is all supported by the 6 independent TDs in Ireland. And then in Britain, you have the same carry on going on, and the Starmer forcing this in. They can't get enough of this woke. And with that, what hope is there of fixing the BBC or fixing RTE in Ireland? There is no hope. We just stop looking at it and that's it. And so we'll stop, no one pay the licence fee, and into jail and out to jail. And you see, the thing is, for foreign people looking at me here, the ordinary man doesn't want to be arrested by the guards. He doesn't want the local guard coming out and arresting him, whereas some people don't mind. And that's what keeps it going. But if everybody just says we're not paying it, what are they going to do with them? Like, I mean, we need to bring down the woke media, get shut of it, and have some other alternative or commercial version that at least you can have my point of view, and the realistic, because what conservative is realistic. I say the windmills are a scam, and they are a scam. The solar is a scam, and they are a scam. I mean, this is undoubtedly the case. They won't do the assessments necessary. The heat pumps are a scam. And they push these scams just because they get a big notion, and the people will still vote for them. But they're losing the vote. But as they lose the vote, the independents come in and back them up. We could see the day when we'll have a Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael government. I'd say that could happen. Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael government. What are they going to do? What if the independent DGs withdrew the support? Sinn Féin would have to get their communism in. So there is no real hope for Ireland. What are they going to do if Trump comes over next year for the? Is there a golf classic somewhere down there? They don't want him. The Irish government wouldn't meet him. They'll not want to meet him. And our president, Catherine Connolly, will not meet him. She won't meet him. She won't let him near. Where is she? In the Phoenix Park, Aris and Uachtaráin. He's not coming in here. That's the situation we have. Good luck, folks. We'll see you underneath. Comment underneath anyway. It's very interesting times. Oh, there's pandemonium in the BBC. Oh, there's pandemonium. Good luck.